that we kind of own this entire spot of the zone, but isn't it cost them so much?
So much invested, but right now the greatest investment right now is that chug cannon, so they can kind of stick around here a little bit longer. Now they're going to go ahead and disengage and maybe kind of rotate up to the natural terrain here and wait patiently. So 4ZR is squeezed here, even though they try to get some Storm Surge, maybe get some easy eliminations, are now in trouble. This is just so shocking. No one's supposed to be here.
They came in and they were like, hey, what's going on? Okay, whatever, it's fine. The worst referees I've ever seen in a match of boxing between two different teams. I'm not sure.
Wasn't no. It wasn't a boxing. That's a pro wrestling referee getting involved. It threw in that metal chair and left. And now we're seeing another fight out here.
What is going on?
Siberia and Force are fighting on the edge of the earth again. This is 7 towards Force normal rotation. I don't know why T Cammy and Seti are down here. Maybe they got pushed out there. And sometimes, like myself, I don't want to go to the beach when the missus tells me we're going to the beach. I want to stay indoors. And that's what happens. Cammy, Seti, and Teak, they get pushed out to the ocean and they made, oh my goodness. I am in shock. How did that happen? The FNCS Asian champion alongside with Siberian 7-Tor. 7-Tor on social media, tweeted out an anime gif, and that man's serious today. I saw it, I was like, oh, I think it was from a famous series that involved the name Notes, and I was like, okay, this guy's serious today. He's the Elim Notes anime coming soon to Fortnite.
Nah, just look at it this way, right? After all the fights we've seen so far, might have to rebrand from the FNCS to the BPF, the Fortnite private beach fights overall, because that's all we're watching over and over again from this early game. Look at the center of the map where Chapix Jan is kind of rotating. There's no one here. Everyone's already moved towards these southern mountains. EU's experienced with how chaotic this zone gets. Maybe that's why everyone's kind of, at the edge of the earth, looking to kind of climb all the way atop these really high points of elevation overall. Pen kind of stopped in his tracks. The taxis kind of run out of the fair right there. Unfortunate. And wow, there's literally no one here. Everyone's on that south side.
And more people are, where they are. They're here on this coastline, Retail Row. I've been seeing this in the entire day one. The dead side rotations have been popping off all the time, and everyone's just colliding on it. They're trying to 200 IQ to rotate, and then all of a sudden you're just running into this mess of a fight here. Sai, who's been in Retail Row fighting this entire FNCS, is now dealing with a new kind of fighter, and his default coming from Dirty Docks.
I'm dubbing this a sandpaper game of season 7. It's just so rough all around. Every single POI. I mean, Retail Row still fighting. Rotations free and then abruptly stopped. People off the cliffs on the side of the island. Default going down in a mannerism we've never seen. This is the guy who cleans things up. Miknup about to win this fight with Sai, 2v3 style.
That was great between Sai and his duo mate. They were able to kind of collapse on that, knowing that they're about to be flanked, but it was just a matter of time before the numbers game catches up to them. Minking Up was trying to hold on here with only 4 points to start today. Nice. Wow. That's that's pretty good. Even the odds a little bit, the numbers a little bit better. Now it's a 1v1. They're doing really well with Surge, but if he can win this engagement, the reboot van is right there. You got to remember, there's still people out there on the beach fighting it out. Patrick here is going to get the reboot van here and go for the. That's a nice play. Now the numbers are back in the favor of Patrick and co.
Yeah, you got Default back. It's like, yeah, you can have Sapphic. That's all good. We'll bring in Default once again, the closer of the fights at Retail. Honestly, the closer of a bunch of Fortnite games too. Going down early might have just been a tech from the CL-centric team. And now Miknup has a much bigger plate to deal with.
Imagine if you had the ability to choose who you want to bring back. That'd be kind of cool.
Man.
That'd be kind of cool. I would never be brought back. I would always be in the reboot van.
Just have to go there, never really get a card. Food for thought for future seasons, but right now, we're inside some real metal, tough situations. Fast Roki low ground again, Void Karma. Looks like they survived a plane crash or something, like shield kind of low, HP also down, a position that's just really bad. And Fast Roki as well, he's getting bullied down to 8 HP, has to get into his flopper reservoir. You don't usually see that, save for endgame, and
bandies as well.
Striking 187 damage below the threshold for Storm Surge. That pump might not even be enough. It's 212. They have to get an entire elim and finish it. Fast Roki's going down to Lightning. Karma's gonna be next. Now Tayson's gonna be the one that's even faster than that element. I mean, just insane. A second game in a row that Fast Roki can't deal with Surge.
Hey, now Tayson has to deal with this fleck and push, but these are the engagements I think that need to bring Vino, Reason, and Tayson back into the running. Right now, they're not doing so hot. They're about in the middle of the board. They're in 11th place going into this match here. But when you've been struggling that entire time with Storm Surge and dealing with so many people rotating in at Analyx with this rotation from coming from the coast coming over here, and now we're seeing the rest of this fight here. Yeah, this wrap. 2 pads go down. Builds are getting blasted out. Do you have a? He does have another one. I would love to see a
number
third.
3.
I would have just throw a pad in the box. Let's see what happens. You never know. Maybe they blast you out there, but Patrick and Default clean up that fight here. Question is, yes, they bring back Sapphic as well. So now they're going to be back into it. They're going to have to get all the resources, get back to full strength. They fight out a retail row. And Tayson, Reason, and Vino, they're getting bullied. Flecken kind of pushes them down a bit. It looks like they're trying to value positioning at this moment, satisfied with that Storm Surge fight that they had there with Fast Roki's trio, but it's still, man, I really think they gotta trust in their box fighting, get in there. I understand they're going for position, they'll early rotate, but you gotta catch up here with some elims.
Many teams are just kind of employing these tactics, though. They're baiting teams like Tayson, Vino, Reason into doing what you're saying, right? Going for those fights. Third party, roll straight through. If they fought Flecken right there, 4ZR would have been literally there in 5 seconds to clean up after that fight, right? So they have to be very careful. It is their strength, you're right, but they have to play away from their strengths. It's going to be very difficult for Tayson to stay ahead of the game, look towards end games, look towards consistency. They've got what it takes. It'll just, you know, it'll be a lot of temptation to resist.
This is game 6 right now. Second place already gone. We're on board here with first place of Stormy Right, Kiriachi, and Toos, who their strength has just been, like I mentioned, the word is consistency. They've just been around, been in the top of the end game. They don't go for height. If they're at height, if they get contested, they lose, they drop down quickly. They don't try to expand, they don't try to crank or build fight. They're very intelligent when it comes to in game, and I just feel like really this is just maybe it might be the masterpiece, the renaissance for Kiriachi, man, and Stormy Right and Toos. This Russian trio has always been in the running. They've been like a mid-card trio, but now they might be stepping up for that heavyweight fight and being the main mark trio for the EU region.
They're lead first place by 10 points right now. Not separating their position though from everyone else. Everyone is kind of tied towards this left side near caddy corner. They have a crescent moon of trios just waiting for the sun to rise, going towards the next portion of the zone. Look at Agram not being aggressive, not even looking for shots. How uncharacteristic is that? Sean VP, the one being bullied and not surviving the clutch. Things are changing now towards these back half of games. Amplify 80 and Matzo, they're activated.
Oh,
they
man.
moved with, you know, Andy before, and both teams survived. This time, one did not. So people are definitely employing different strategies to get out of these mid-game positions. At the same time, everyone's kind of just stuck side by side.
Very stuck here because of these kind of positions that everyone's kind of jockeying for on these mountaintops, and the zone is pushing off where Matzo is, and it's, look at this, everybody's on the left side. Again, there's something about the left, but everyone's got to pick up their left foot and slide to the right for this moment here. Squeeze and 4ZR and Alex, who have been wounded throughout the entire time, we got some sand under their toes, and you know, once you go to the beach and you don't take a shower, you got sand in all these weird crevices, and as Squeeze and 4ZR, they're going to be irritated as they're making their way through here. But hey, they got a really strong position, but I'm just concerned the resources have been dipped into, the heals have been dipped into, and now as Squeeze has been double dipped and eliminated, 4ZR and Alex have to roll as a duo.
This is so tricky, especially with this zone. We're going to Shipwreck Cove. I mean, I haven't seen a zone like this since last season's game number 1. It gets crazy. Anything can happen. And these guys have to move free on an entire mountain. Is there a person to snipe there? Yes. Endless doesn't even see his speed. He's not even considering it. He's going for revenge on the Eliminator. He's moving out in the open. Everyone's spaced up side by side, skiing down this mountain. This is crazy. Finally catches up to 4ZR. How is that possible?
Man, it is that extreme sports lifestyle. You're going to the beach and you're surfing, and now you're back up to the mountaintops and you're skiing and snowboarding. And sometimes that little snowball, it kind of careens down into avalanche. 4 HP does get elimination there. He's gonna have to hold on. 4ZR and Andalix, a very historic duo here, is still on their feet in the snow. Zone 5 is gonna be revealed, Shy.
Okay, and it is going to be an avalanche that's going to come through. All these trios have to move off from one side of the mountain. It might be like an anti-gravity avalanche to go all the way to the other side of the mountain
They
too.
can't, they can't do this.
And then that's to rise again, the trickiest zone in Fortnite's history. I feel like this is going to be crazy for people to move across.
All it takes is a couple of beams and Alex is gone. Queasy is still in this fight, gets an elimination on Red Rush, but we're watching right here. This is one of the most decorated EU teams in the region. This French trio who made the French shift. They changed it up. They were able to qualify with new teammates, newly formed. And look at this. In about a minute, we will see if they were able to survive. As you mentioned, one of the most dangerous, treacherous rotations we may ever see. Here we go.
I saw Safik just make a very sneaky push from the bottom. They're electing to go to the base of the mountain. Andalix, though, he's moving all the way up on the top right of your screen. 4 HP, can't make a single mistake. Half had up in the air. 3 AR shots will take him out, but no one's looking. Everyone has to be focusing on this position. It's such a tricky zone. Finally, some pressure comes in, but they stabilize. Meanwhile, down towards the dirt, Exterior Mappy Red Rush, they don't want to take to the skies. They got their own plans to stay ahead and alive.
But what is such a risky position to be down there? Look at that. Even Boopback is way down there. Boopback is beyond the dirt. He's 6 feet under. He may find himself and dig himself into the lobby at that point. Falconly and ZQ Kazakh. Oh my goodness. What happened? An earthquake happens. It brings out everything, and it was an edit down chop. Kazakh survives, though. He survives the natural disaster that just unfolded there, and Queasy may have been the culprit of that edit down chop.
Oh my God, I've never seen Kazakhs panic that hard.
Dude, I panicked.
Down, but walls and floors everywhere. We're panicking too. They're back up the height though. That cost them a lot. Kazakhs,
it did.
171 mats now, and it's only wood.
Oh my goodness. It's coming down to it. This is one of those chaotic in games that we always love to see and love to cast, but no one loves to play because it's going to get messy. Here we are. Deceptos Loki's commit there on the low ground, but not really. They're heading down now. Hey, Tayson, Vino, and Reason. They're in the mid ground. Patrick's right there on their door. And let's save it. Save it is alive here. Save is going to try to find his way back to glory. And meanwhile, our defending FNCS champions are second from height.
Everyone on every single layer has to be very careful. We're going back up straight over the mountain across flat land, but the zone could pull back at any moment. You have to be very careful with how many materials you use, which pads you're putting down, what your whole game plan is. And while you're trying to concentrate, anyone can break into your box, cause a lot of pressure, chaos in your mind. You might not think. You waste even a second, you might slip, fall off of this crazy zone and mountain straight down to your demise. There's a big shot from Savid. Cannot keep it contained. Right there, a second of distraction. Invasion in the box. He's gone, he's out.
And what I noticed in day one is Jerky, Queasy, and Trulix, if they cleaned up a couple of things, they would be able to hold on to height. They had height multiple times here on the first moving zones, but then they lost it to these corporates right here. But it's not going to happen here because Aqua is in shambles, and now he's going to do all that he can to get those placement points.
Yeah, even the high ground warlords are suffering with this zone. Aqua as a solo trying to make things happen. Missed shot on the walk up, but he got a big finish on the splash. Aqua damage, 33 on the Elocrats. He's still getting points, even if he's not working height or in the circle. The zone is still so far away. Bullied, held back in boxes. He gets in. He's living. He's alive.
Aqua with the two-piece right here. The GOAT is still alive on his feet, still rocking it now. He's on a layer. He almost caught another body, but he just whiffs the shot. He's here to fight. He's out of build and out of this match.
Reason though, he's fighting with Taste and takes out Sapphik as they're moving on to their mid-ground layer. Below is just a mess. Tripper and the last one left, he gets taken out. He's gone, and now Exterios and Mappy as a duo still control everything going down below. The lobby is gonna get squeezed up. There's another hill, a mountain in the way. Kylie once again is another player surviving from that last game here to this one. The same patterns navigating the zone. Look at everyone else though. They're trapped. They have to get by not only the entire server, but the space as well. Reason deleted. Trulix, Jerky, Queasy. They're bringing that FNCS champion vibe right back this season.
They're rocking that Axe of Champions in their spirit and in their minds here. They're trying to defend the crown, but Pink Nebs, who's had a great day one here, are trying to regain their footing here in day two on the front side of the zone. It's champion versus champion, Asian versus EU, and EU claps out Asia again. Force with it, trying to regain it. It's another Axe of Champion running around it as well. We have 4 Axe of Champions, but here it is, Trulix, Jerky, and Queasy here, finally finding their form here in day 2, going up against the contender from day 1. Nebs, Pink, and Stompy working as a duo.
It'll be the 4th mountain they're on, a possibility of a res all the way down below, but the timing might not be there. They're sticking it. Nebs is going for it. Chuck Splash Cannon to keep his HP from the zone alive. Is he up? He's up. Now it's a 3v3, but there's no Master Stompy. He used them all to actually defend.
What?
Easy. Big shots taken on height. The slide pump lands again. The retake. It's coming through from Stompy.
No,
Another on the Queasy. No way.
No.
They're doing it.
No way.
He lets us down.
No way.
On the right.
No way.
Stompy
No way.
in.
No way. No way.
Wins out the game.
Oh.
Single-handedly getting all 3 players, Pink, Nebs, and Stompy, do the impossible.
No way! No way! I have no words, bro. No words. No words, child.
I don't even want to attempt to think about anything else. Speak, please. Take it away.
I thought that I've seen it all. I thought that this was just going to be another normal day of Fortnite. I thought this was going to be the normal finals. Apparently, everyone decided they were going to go absolutely hamburgers for no reason. Stompy, this was the craziest clutch of all time. What are you doing, brother? Oh my gosh. The composure needed to pull something off like that. The comeback from recovery, the moment to even pick your teammate up. I mean, oh my goodness, dude. This was next level, bro.
Oh my god. Look, Queasy, Trulix, and Drake, it's an absolute travesty. It is absolutely shocking. You know, you can, there's so many words you can use. Stinker, howler, nightmare. It's everything that could possibly go wrong and worse. Like, you don't lose that. Like, we know Stompy's great. He's one of the all-time greats of EU. You know, back in the World Cup days, he was dominating the land. But he just whipped out his old form right there. That was not even real. That shouldn't have happened, right? If you don't know what just happened, that shouldn't have happened. Nobody should win that if you're in Stompy's position. You shouldn't.
Yeah, but he did, and he hit the shots. He's showing why. Throughout the World Cup qualifiers, he was the most dominant player. Throughout Season 8, he became the champion. Zeke still lost in the sauce. He still can't believe it as we say that. And you know, a lot of people throughout a lot of the previous FNCSs have not put the respect on Stompy's name. But Stompy, alongside Nebs, to pick up the res onto Pink, like, huge big brain play, because that also saved 1 bullet, right? That hit the shot from, I think it was Queasy, to knock down, which allowed Stompy to be able to win it. Huge, incredible play.
Oh my gosh, these teams, they know what's at stake, man. They want the Axe of Champions. They want to win it all. Oh my goodness. We got to talk about some other stuff with Malibuca happening here in earlier on in the game. I'm still shaking. Take it away, Love. Take it away.
Look, I just wanted to show people the duality of Fortnite, right? Because you know, we take a look at the game before this when Mr. Savage, you know, they have that amazing win. Everything's going rosy. You think to yourself, oh wow, they contested that steamy, but it's still going great. They've now won 2 games out of 5. Everything's absolutely amazing. But then you get them coming in, landing at steamy the game after, you know, on this massive high, and they get walked through. Malibuca takes out Ref's guard. No real hope there. And Reese, this is one of the big problems that, you know, these teams will have while contested. We talked about the Asian winners who, you know, won FNCS, contested 10 out of 10 times, or 10 out of 12 times, sorry. You know, Mr. Savage and them, they're not going to be able to do this like every game. At some point, you just have to think it's not worth it anymore.
No, I know you got to think so, but there's no other options. Reality. Where else are they going to go? Anywhere else they go? They're contested at the same drop, so they might as well keep going where they're being successful. They were in second, and now they've dropped down till 7th for Falcon, Refsguard, along with Andrea and Mr. Savage 2 now. So that's 5 placements down just by losing off spawn, which is tough. But with the huge clutch, with the huge victory royale from Pink, Nebs, and Stompy, that's pushed them all the way up into 1st place currently. 2 victory rounds to their name, and I want to watch more. I have to see more from this team.
Honestly, I did not come into this weekend expecting to see what we've seen from these 3 players. That clutch from Stompy is going to go down in the history books. That is absolutely unreal. And like you say, Risa, I'm so eager to see now. You know, they've clearly got the hot hand, and everything they do, they're doing so many things right. And it's not perfect, right? It's not perfection. There are mistakes being made here and there, but they just have that sort of rhythm and flow right now where they are able to just account for any mistake. And you have Stompy, you know, hitting 1v3s. Like, you can't bank on that. You can't guarantee that every game. But boy, that is just absolutely nuts. You can see the players here now from 11 to 20. They'll all be watching that thinking, well, look, if they're going to be playing like that, we ain't got a chance. Like, how are we supposed to stop him? You know, if we're going to get into 3v1s and he's still going to win, what are we supposed to do about that? Nevertheless, there are so many games left, but wow, what a performance.
Yeah, and I think a notable thing to add there is that Queasy's team is now in 18th place after that. That looked like a game, like you mentioned, let's be real. They should have won that. They should have picked up the victory royale in the final game, but they ended up second. That would have been 2 additional eliminations of 4 points and another 5 points. So that would have another 9 points to them, which would have put them up, I think, what, 6 slots up in the leaderboard alone. So that choke from them could be disastrous for the rest of the leaderboard. They seem to be playing absolutely on form today, but that final little closing out the game, but you know,
that's just the confidence, just absolutely destroyer, you know, and they'll be arguing, you know, we
sure.
you get frustrated at your teammates sometimes, right? You know, they will be so frustrated with each other at how they've allowed that to happen, and hopefully it doesn't completely offset their mental going forward, because there are 6 games or so left, right? There's so many games that you can't afford to sort of switch off now, but I don't know how they recover from that one. If me and Reese, if that happened and you were the one that allowed, you know, Stompy to clutch like that, I'm removing you as a friend. We're not playing again.
Blocked on Twitter, don't worry.
Yeah, you're finished, you're done, you know, it's over.
Well, guys, you heard the bus, which means we have to go back in the game. I still have to recover from that. Remember, we've got another 6 games ahead of us because we began with Ace. So buckle up. We have more action like this up ahead of us. Sancho, Shayo, back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Zeke, and we're trying to recover myself. I mean, trying to check my heart rate here. We're about to get into the throes of Game 7. Shayo, talk about a highlight show that FNCS is putting on here for day 2.
I'm trying to recover, you know, brain-wise. I don't remember any of the other games at all, except for that one. The clutch from Stompy. And remember what they did off spawn, Sancho. They defended, they waited, they stayed alive. They have to again. We cannot miss this team in another endgame.
They got a bunker down here. You cannot follow up with your greatest hits of all time. You cannot have one of those tracks that just don't bop anymore. Kha'Zix gets bopped, and Falcon Lee now is gonna get a trade right there, but nice Stompy baiting that out there, letting the teammate kind of take the brunt of that force here, and that just may be enough. Oh, nicely done. Wow, Stompy, okay, you're on one now, man. I looked on Twitter just to say, oh, he's on one. They took that. Remember they got pickaxe? You remember that's how we started this broadcast? They got pickaxe, and all of a sudden they're on this new form, reaching new heights. Savage, Refsguard, they're gonna win this Steamy Stocks engagement. But man, my brain is like fried. It's frozen in time. He's frozen in time.
Everyone's back now. Savage winning his fight. Stompy actually going for the aggressive play and winning. The confidence is here. No one's actually, you know, trying to do these weird trades, stay back a little bit, play for info. They're really capitalizing on any opening that they can. Making up also getting clipped, or, you know, completely just clipped. Akumu looks like all the way at Rito Row as well. Benji winning against Exterios. All the patterns we were watching yesterday from the fan favorite teams, the matchups that, you know, a few analysts were predicting would go a certain way, they are going that way now. I mean, it looks like the entire server's back on form.
Yeah, back in the form. I agree with you on that. You know, day 1, this is what was happening. And it just shows you right there. I mean, Queasy, I think Queasy, like I mentioned in day one, the pattern that we were talking about from them, Shai, as you mentioned that, is that they were still an in-game. They were there taking height. That zone was really difficult. They had it. And normally, I would say 90% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, you don't lose that kind of advantage when you have height, and considering that the low ground was plumb out of mats here. Now Mappy's in trouble here. He's going to feel the pressure from the rest of Joe, Shadow, and Benji. And now we're going back to Force and Siberia Savitor, who have turned around their fortunes here in day two. But it looks like this is not going to be very fortunate here outside of retail row.
Yeah, Trixie, Jaggy, they love to just find teams on rotation or just finishing fights, dive in, and pick them up, clean them up. That was their style on day one. We've kind of missed it, or they've been stopped multiple times, swatted like flies. On day number two, looks like this time gonna pack a little bit more of a sting all throughout for Forces. His shot club splash charges are completely down. Jaggy tends they might just back off here. They might just want to go for the damage totally. And yeah, that's a lot, about 300 to 400 damage across all three players from there. Very good from Trixie. A nice push. They'll back the whole way away.
It makes me laugh because all you hear is just the car going, and they're just out, right? They just came on through, did what they had to do, and they're rolling out. And Red Rush is rolling out. And this is going to be one of those games, Red Rush, you just got to do what you can. Hold. He does have Mysterios' card. And that's what I learned in NA West. When you have that black bar right there, that means you do have a card there to go. So he has one of those cards so far. And now we're taking a look at Kirachi, which it feels like people will remember Stompy's play the most, but Kirachi right here, it's going to be one thing, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm finally seeing it. Savid was skirting by in day one, no problem. We're living fine. Now,
big drop, needs more power, more guarantee of surge damage all the way off of spawn. So yeah, Rifle Savid, so they're getting kind of bullied too. So the big edits, blocks one shot, edits, hits another. Huge. The speed from there is insane. And boom, that's it. Not a single person getting fully eliminated. Yeah, Toos got knocked at the very end, but a very good bait for Stormy and Kiriachi to make that pinch possible.
And if I saw that on VODs, Kirachi definitely saw that as well. Every time you see it, you look at that battle map, you're seeing their tracking, you instantly see that Savid constantly goes all the way down to that dish, rotates through Shantytown, and it's just uninhibited, just easy free. Now he has to pay the toll, and that toll ultimately cost him here in game 7.
Almost out of a few, but there's so many more games to go throughout this day. Benji, Joe, Shadow, they're going to be alive off spawn for now. Mid game is their kind of tricky spot, getting out of Coney Complex, outside the POI, and moving on towards the end game. That was tough. Stompy though, yeah, all the way from Season X to now, man is no stranger to winnings. 8 different games he's won in EU. He holds that record, rightfully so too. I mean, if you've seen the style of play, the zones that he's very good at, and are these mountain zones, like that was very reminiscent of the clutches he had with Chinkin and Aqua all the way back in Season X and previous seasons as well. And he's only on a 2 for the day now. I think Savage's trio is the only one with that 2, and they're in first place off of that game too. So that's just absolutely phenomenal.
People are forgetting that Chapter 1 map had huge mountains. There was a lot of them everywhere. Pleasant Park had like a whole ring of mountains. You're going down towards Tilted Towers, they had their own little ring of mountains. You go to Salty Springs, they had that huge mountain. And then just a little bit dead in the middle, dead center, they have another mountain right there. I could go on and on forever. I mean, we're talking about the glory days. You remember those broken houses right then and there, like south of Loot Lake? That was another huge mountain that Chapter 1 had. But yes, Aqua and Stompy and Chinkin, like you mentioned from Season X, are the champions, but there's so many champions in this lobby, man. So many.
It's been a while, right? Everyone's kind of had their shot at the throne. Some people have called it home for longer. Some are still defending it to this day or trying to even take it back from just a few seasons ago. Lots looking for a double up for second run at the title.
I was going to say here, I'm taking a look as we're getting a taste of the first zone. We're seeing Benji. They were able to confirm Joe. They eliminated Joe. And I'm sorry. Red Rush got confirmed by Joe. There
okay, I was wondering. I told you that team.
My brain is still frozen by Stompy. So also as well as Falcon Lee, his trio has been eliminated. Malibu has been eliminated. Sai has been eliminated. And then you have Karmi has been eliminated. And Wings and Karmi, day one, they were doing really good, man. I love their aggression into Pleasant Park. They were pushing Coral Castle, but so far their day 2, not so great considering that they're now sliding out of the top 10.
Yeah, you're talking about, you know, the difference from day 1 and 2. Look at the trios on board right now. Fast Broke, Void, and Karma also had trouble on this day compared to the first. They're going with different tactics now. It's being quiet, looking for a shot here against Toos, a trio that's really good at affecting many later on in the game. If they take out these guys right here, if they even have a little bit of damage to interrupt their loop path, it'll be trouble. But Toos senses something.
Yeah,
he's heard a footstep.
I heard
Teammates
something.
the awareness is just there. Kriachi will come up and see if he's okay. He'll base up a little bit, and now they hear Void. Void hears the Bills, understands that they're playing a little bit of defense. They might just force this fight.
It basically heard like a branch, like a stick break. Just like that. It's like now it's on high alert, and they're going to go ahead and build up this base and bunker down here. And I think, yeah, you don't want a piece of that. You just know that's going to be one of those fights drawn out. Hey, man, sometimes fast food is not good for your diet. I just got to let you know. I got to let you know that dirt burger ain't worth it. And as juicy as it is, it ain't worth it.
Now Fast Roki just looking somewhere else now. No, it's a lesson in villainy. One of the rules is that you have to be careful not to make a sound. And if a branch does snap, who knows, you fall down in a pitfall. You get in a little bit of trouble. That's just what happens there to them. It just feels like Fast Roki's always looking to be the counter to a different trio or to play, you know, in the shadows of someone else's power. It's not really finding that type of success today. Same thing with Hydro Zest and Backfeed. Always looking to cause a little bit of ruckus, but not be the main target for a lot of fights. And since everyone is playing so passive, so separated right now at this portion of the game, they're having a little bit of trouble also getting elims. When we were watching in day number 1, they had 1 or 2, or they were really influencing, you know, people behind the scenes. They kind of seem like the hidden overlords of the mid game. Right now, they're just kind of a lot quieter.
And definitely they were puppet mastering everybody right there. It's like, you know, there's regulators in this world and there's instigators, and definitely they are instigators. You see that retreat from Fast Roki there. They go right into another trio, and that's Toasty out there in Weeping Woods. So, hey, they didn't get a dirt burger there, but they do get to eat. And they get that maximum storm surge with that sniper shot. And Fast Roki is going to get credit for that elimination there. But as you're seeing, 6 trios are already out of this match here. And it's just so interesting. I feel like that previous game kind of felt like a throwaway game. It kind of, like, you know, there's a lot of weird things that was happening because we have the extra 2 games to work with. And I felt like a lot of people were trying new things. And so it's interesting to see where people go after this. Again, never historically done before. 8 games in day 2.
I feel like that game was more so less throwaway, a little bit more PTSD, forcing people to try things. As soon as you see a potential for a mountain zone, you want to get ahead of it, right? You want to be there as fast as possible. That's why the map seemed a little bit empty. And yeah, a lot of top teams fell off spawn. Void actually ends up going down here. Calmer Fast Roki in trouble. We'll come back to that in just a sec, because these elims for default Sapphic Putric, they could be huge.
Absolutely huge, not only for their leaderboards, but for this match as well. Look at that. Very aggressive rotation coming all the way from Dirty Docks. They're picking up the pace. I talked about their woes in the semifinals, and they seem to get them better in day 1, and now they're getting really solid here in day 2. You're going to be able to try to pick up the pieces when it comes to Karma and Fast Roki.
I'll go back to talking about, though, you know, the differences from last game and how trios are playing and now. I feel like, you know, going towards the left side compared to the mountains, everyone kind of has that normal game plan. You know, the fields of what to do, everyone kind of has a little bit of space on both sides of the Venn diagram for this zone on how to play.
I think it's what those mountains are very tempting. You know, you aggro those mountains, those placements. You understand that once it goes around the mountains and up and over, you got to go all the way to height as the Swedes get to knock against Rotary. And I agree with you. Once the mountains are there, it kind of throws everything out the window. Your game plan you have is just...
Okay. Hi. Hi, you too. No. Pinky, no. Pinky, boo, boo, no. No, Pinky, boo, boo. Watch her be like 10 million people watching. Wait, what the heck?
How come that was the first thing that popped up?
Watch her be like 10
long have you
million people watching. 33 minutes. What the?
That we kind of own this entire spot of this home, but doesn't it cost them so much?
So much invested, but right now the greatest investment right now is that choke cannon, so it's kind of...
He actually started here, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And was just all the way in Steamy, and he has a better spot in this zone. But that might be also Sancho, right? Because he actually fought this game. He's never done that before. They kind of got into positions they haven't been in any game of the finals so far.
Wait, go all the way.
they've taken over.
And maybe they kind of poke the bear. I mean, Saban may take that personal and just trying to go into these sludgy swamps. So they got to be careful here. You may get those 6 points there, but is those 6 points worth it for the long run?
Want to make bracelets?
Showing, hey, Aqua's still
Yeah,
there,
let's
even
make
though they were in
bracelets.
shambles at the other end game. Aqua got some valuable eliminations, put us a couple points on the board, and got some great placements for his team.
Running back this time too. This is the most concerning thing for me. Seti, Kemi, Teak, historically one of the most consistent trios of the region, struggling with Surge once again.
Wow.
In terms of being landing somewhere
Why'd
mid-map,
you do that?
kind of a little bit on an off vibe or off center in terms of getting positioning in this zone. They're always ahead is what I'm trying to say, and it just seems like they've been a step behind this entire finals. Looking to actually equalize though. They're pushing back. I think he's also suffering from Surge. So they need to land a pump before he gets taken out. 100 above now, it's enough for the moment. We'll watch that number go down so fast. 73 teams still in the lobby. This kind of feels like a fifth zone right now, but it's only the third.
Yeah, it's been happening the entire time, but pitchers are definitely, more pitchers describe 1,000 words, and this is what I'm saying. This is what's happening to them. Every time their rotation, they're surrounded by people who need Surge. So they get pushed and they're always on the defense. It's a two-sided coin for them, and it's not a good coin. Either they need Surge or they're surrounded by players that do need it, and they get pushed and aggro. So that's what's been costing them their run, and you're right here. That is why they're not doing well as expected.
They're always caught in some type of Surge black hole. So
I'll tell you, I'm waiting.
who are a different side of the galaxy, different side of,
Yes, I agree.
blame.
No!
Oh man,
This is tough.
I'm bringing the
Yeah, this is completely in
bracelet.
outer space. That's just. But the good thing is, Benji is the one to get that loot with Shadow and Joe. Very good pickup from Shadow there to actually know exactly where the solo is going to be trying to rotate, trying to escape. Andy Chashi, they were kind of in that situation before that we just saw Expert in. Down on Surge, just trying to survive. A rabbit just running in a forest. Anyone could really just pick that up. This time, they're looking really good. South side of the base, as soon as I say that, they both get taken out and knocked. Never mind.
Hey, it happens that fast here. But just to talk about Benji, Joe, and Shadow real quickly, they're making dead side rotations. That's what they're doing in day one, and that's what I mean. They're primed to make a decent run here in day two. Their dead side rotations were on point, and they were always at the end game. Now they're going to push their way clean closer to center. There they are on your bottom mini map. There are those blue triangles right on the edge of this here. But let's go back to Sapphic Patrick and default here. I thought they were able to move. This is something that's been happening in EU. They just go to the edge and stop. If they took the time and maybe get a little bit more center, look how free center is. If they could just keep moving and not stopping on the edge of the storm line.
I mean, the issue is in Weeping Woods, this forest, it's really hard to navigate. Lots of space. It's not that traversable. Low ground's kind of really weird. And so many people are set up on hills or trees or vantage points you can't even see. So as a result, Sapphic trying to deal with stuff in front of him. He gets pumped in the back while trying to rotate. This is just tough. Even with Peppers, I mean, I guess they're saving it for a different zone. It's costing them a lot right now, and no one can really push all the way towards the center. All the people who are coming from the outside in, they're stuck on zone line. The only people at the center of the zone right now are the people who started there.
This is it. It is about a minute until zone closes here. And where zone 5 goes, that's going to be huge considering Logjam has been in this entire time. So, Kirachi has been vibing, and he did get some good Storm Surge to initially onset his hold there. The question is, will he have the beams as well? You've seen Jackie come out from caddy corner, their head in position. You see Fast Roki there, who's been all over looking for Storm Surge, only down to a duo. Now you have Cammy setting Teak now, and better pastures on their own tarp. And look, no neighboring people. So when it gets to that 50-man surge, I think they're going to be a lot better on. But the question is, we already saw them on the borderline. They need to get tags right here. They need to be aggressive and open up those edits and make sure they get those beams.
Yeah, the win condition right now for Seti. Cammy's just staying above Surge. If they survive, they can play so well all the way towards the end. They're always consistent. It should be below when the update comes in. They need to land a few shots here or there. Sancho, absolutely correct. The other big thing too with this zone, I mean, it'll happen in about 2 once we start moving, but so many teams, you mentioned it, like Kiriachis, have been sitting still. Even Seti Kami Teak, they haven't moved around that much. Everyone has so many mats, and with trees kind of separating low ground and high ground, you can see it the whole way through. If this zone goes straight into the forest, there should be so many different fights for height. Kiriachi has so many mats left. Savage has barely even used any. All these bases have just been sat in the entire time. Everyone is waiting to be the king of this lobby.
Every time we drone over to Aqua, this Tayson is always at their feet. This is always happening, and they're always jockeying for position. You have Nebs right there as well, kind of trying to assess you with those metal ramps. And of course, you have Kirachi, who's been on the high ground this entire moments here when moving into the end game. But Deal Aqua and Noah Riley are in third place right now, really consistent.
Yeah, and you can see the battle between two big bases. Who's going to the high speed? Wow. Mistake from Vidil, but he has that medkit. He has the minis to get back. It's this trio and Kiriachi's in the distance that have the highest bases at the same elevation.
Vidil has Fireflies, and you know he's going to be ready to use that to take that height if he needs to.
Yeah, he gets at the force.
Oh, no!
But there's a trio here. Splash actually jumps up. Where was Aqua? What happened? Aqua's on the backside. Noah Riley distracted. The entire trio gets just completely fractured.
It was all of a sudden a flank from the backside there from Milwaukee and Splash and Co. And they were able to take away this high ground advantage, but it doesn't matter. Zone 5 goes south here. But right now, our third place team is in shambles, and they were already below Surge here. And this might be it. The swan song is over for them temporarily, but Splash and Milwaukee and Koro put a huge wrench in those plans here. But all this structure here has to move and rotate, and they have to go down south, and that just means Kirachi has the advantage, but also Nebs as well, as you see, are now going to rotate around. I like what Benji, Joe, and Shadow are doing. Last time at this moment, they were start cranking up to height or like ramping up to height, but electing right now to stay on the ground, which Benji has a lot of experience being a low ground fighter.
Benji low ground is a very, very fun thing to watch. Nebs, Pink, and Stompy is honestly, though, the highlight of the day. They're not even at
highlight of the year.
That's actually up for contention. There have been some crazy plays. That there. One was not. No mountain for them to climb, though. They're going to actually have to just stay on top of the entire server. First place is where Pink, Nebs, and Stompy are. Kiriachi in second. First on low, second all the way on height, and third we just saw fall. So it'll be a battle of two Titan trios looking to take that lead.
I spy with my little eye that Kirachi structure only be held not that strong. It's like about 4 boxes there that are holding it. It's all made out of brick. So if someone wants to chop it, they can.
I mean, we've seen the pattern so far in endgames. No one should be staying on their first base from the 5th zone. They always launch off. They go all the way to where the zone's moving. I think Kiriachi's learned that by now. So unless they want to stay there and lose height, we will see in just a little bit.
Here we go. Here's about to get to first moving, and it goes back up north.
Up north, and Hen, Janice Chappies. Looks like Hen might take a lot of damage, maybe be knocked, picked back up. But Splash is really putting on the pressure.
Now everybody's got to move out here, and all those people that have the advantage or high ground are going to have to rotate out here in about 10 seconds. The Storm is about to push everyone out of this area completely. Nebs, Pink, and Stompy now have 3 eliminations. So even though if they go down, they're about to cross into the placement threshold, and it could be one of those matches that you need if you're holding on to first place. Just don't go down at this point here. Try to get to the top 10, and this will be definitely a W of a game. One of those moral victories here as it go for the pad.
Kiriachi all the way on height. Nebs flies right by. This is the perspective of your first place team holding onto the lead. Still, long game to be played. Kiriachi moving all the way across. They've given up that base completely. Actually, they've expanded it and connected it. Shadow's going all the way towards the top, and Drita actually flies by. Joe is in control at the cost of Benji Fishy's shield. Kiriachi has to give things up. I mean, it's no different than what we've been seeing before, but they actually go all the way to second height, not battling with Hen. Things are getting crazy, kind of claustrophobic for every single team. Not enough builds either. This high ground is just extended the whole way through. They're still fighting for it. Kiriachi does not want to let down.
There's not a lot of air up here. It's getting thin because there's so many trios up here taking up all the oxygen, and Joe, Benji, and Shadow here are breathing the finest, purest air at the moment. But look at Queasy, Trilix, and Jerky getting in position.
That is a very sneaky play, and they go for the launch pad too. Nebs, Pink, Stompy, so smart. They're letting all these trios fight. Have at it. Go for height. We'll play the placement. We'll wait for the game to come to us.
There it is, Jerky. There you talk about the position, but Kiriachi responds, and storming right to Kiriachi, who have been waiting, holding on to height, send beams down Queasy way and push him off the pedestal that is this height right now. Kiriachi, Tucson storming right here with some great games, 3 eliminations. Look at this high pad there. Trulix, oh my goodness, we take to the skies, and now we go back to height again, but Trulix is still up there, and he's getting beamed. Can he find his connections? No, he doesn't, but someone else is coming up. Here it is. Jerky's coming back again.
This pinch is absolutely astronomical in the skies. It's Julex with a distraction. Kirachi finally goes down. Queasy was not done. He kept track of his teammates. Now it's 2v2. Too Stormy right. Too slow on HP. No shields. Drop down below. Stormy alone all the way next to the clouds. Can he survive? He's going to be taken down a little bit. Looks like Jerky also goes. Benji's in his box. Benji deleted. Tack shots. They also not enough to actually keep Toos alive. Julex and Queasy will have it, but it's only 2 players to control high ground.
It looks like Shadow's gonna have to go solo. Hen, who's been a solo for a very long time, is still on his feet, and Alex Vino getting some eliminations in the feed. Hottie, Elocrest, and Tripper, who had a great day one, could take height, and they are looking for it right now with the chop right there against Trulix. Deceptos is here on the other side.
The 5th height retake. We're watching this game.
There it is.
And Tripper, Elocrest, and Hottie get it for free. And no way, gets bopped by Savage on low ground. He has his home too. So he has the entire control of the low ground hemisphere. Shadow's trying to work it too. There's a little bit of a split from Shadow and his teammates. It's Savage as a solo in Weeping Woods. You've seen this before, but not this bad. 34 HP. He might not have enough to tank and deal the damage.
He might have enough there with the chug cannon just to do a little bit more. All he has to do is just continue to keep on ticking, keep on rocking, and hold out that wall. Going down to 1 build left here. Savage coming into this fight. He's doing so well. 7th place, slowly sliding out of the top 5 here. But this could be the moment here. Tayson gets eliminated by Splash and Moaka, who've been a nuisance all this day. Savage here is on the low ground. Pump out. No builds. Looking for those E-limbs. Doing his best, but no, gets beamed from high. But Reason is still on this fight at the very end of the day, but it is Hottie, Tripper, and Elocrest with the 6 eliminations and the victory royale. Man, hey, we remember we were seeing this trio come to form last season, and now what a great time to get a victory royale. It looks like everybody from that northeast side of the map is racking up VRs.
Yeah, 4th place overall rolls in on a 5th height retake that happened in that game. It was crazy. Kirachi put up a very good fight, but that should shake up the boards a little bit, at least from 2nd all the way down to 10th. Very close game overall, and a nice textbook win from, the God Squad.
Hey, it's what happens when you do a turn play in a tournament and it works for you. Everything's going to work for you here on out. Nice VR. We're going to go ahead and take it to Zeke, Levin, and Reese to break it all down.
Thank you guys so much. Game number 7 on the day, but game number 3 specifically of 8 for happening today specifically. My goodness, my words are about as jumbled as this last game was. Tripper and Elocrest, Hottie, 6 eliminations and the VR. But guys, there was so much more happening. Andretta sitting on 6 eliminations by himself there. And then Reason getting to make it into the top 3. Once again, the victory royale is going to be super pivotal for these teams trying to claw their way back in a top 10, even top 5, right? But there's still all these other trios where you might not see exactly what they're doing, but they're operating in the shadows, right? They're trying to get these eliminations. They're trying to be consistent with that placement. And right now it's working for them.
Yeah, and I think, the big thing I think with Hoy and Shipping is that yesterday, Reese, we were talking about how if there was going to be a day they would do good, it would have been yesterday, right? Like everything was setting up so perfectly. Finally, they're having that good performance we sort of talked about them potentially having.
Yeah, and that's really fantastic for them, right? We saw almost that game number 1 that they had the strategies down with the turret to blast them out of the sky, which looks super good. They were 7th off the top of my head on day number 1 overall. So from then so far, they are continuing that through. I think they're going to move up big time with that victory royale that they had there, because like I said, they've been super consistent throughout the games today as well. They had a 9th, a 10th, and now the 1st as well. So they've been looking super, super strong so far, and they're definitely a contender for the 1st place at this moment.
Yeah, I'd love to kind of talk about the team doing well in 2nd place that started specifically today, okay? And that's the Deceptos' trio. They are looking pretty good right now, friends.
Yeah, they're looking really good. You can see they've actually got the most points today now, right? So they've now overtaken. So they're Floki Clement. So you can see them on this west side of Misty. Yesterday, they were getting bullied by Andlex's team over here, but this is kind of the stuff that they have to deal with in the early game, right? Notice that Queasy has landed up on the Guardian Tower near where they're dropping, right? Which leaves Floki Clement and Deceptos with barely any materials really that they can work with in terms of chest, sorry, because they only get 11 in that west side. So for them, they have to find out a path to get some form of loot, right? So you see them trying to rotate up to the north, and this is what they got to deal with. Queasy understands that they're going to take this rotate. He goes for the Storm Surge tags on them, and they're getting obliterated. This is already 50 of their shield gone at that moment too. But not only that, art skill goes with some absolute laser eyes from this distance, takes another 50 damage as they're rotating at the same time, and Andalex and X2Es are all focusing on them as they make this rotate. So given the circumstances that this team is currently in, that Floki, Clement, and Deceptos are in their early game, only having 11 chests, the fact that they have gained the most points today in the 3 games is absolutely outstanding, in all honesty, and that has pushed them up into 7th when they were somewhere in the 10th till 20th range at the end of day number 1.
Yeah, actually, man, when you frame it like that and you see all the teams they're having to deal with, it is insane. But look, you can see Pink, Nebs, and Stompy sitting in first place with a 5-point lead, which isn't much, but it's a lead nonetheless. Hottie, Elocras, and Trippin with that Victory Royale are now sitting in second as well. And Rescott and Jera and Mr. Savage, we saw win a couple games ago in third, but it's still very fine margins towards the top. Still not much in it, and you know, with Vino tasting a reason, seeming to be in a bit of form now, Hendrix and Chapik still kicking it. A lot of the top contenders are finally starting to find a bit of a rhythm now, Reese.
Yeah, and definitely, you know, you already mentioned Vino's team as well. Like that's the big one, right? Where they were 13th. They were struggling really badly with Storm Surge yesterday in that first game. And then in the other ones, they just really weren't able to capitalize on the rest of them, right? They weren't able to get the big point games that they're known for. But now, the last 2 games, a 6th and then a 3rd. And the one before that, they were 10th as well. So the points that they've gained today have almost been more than they managed to obtain yesterday overall. Still with tons of games left remaining, which is crazy from them. Hen's still in it. Kiriachi's still in it. Refscar's still in it. Obviously, Hottie's team is doing super well alongside Pink as well. But if we move over to the next page, we're going to see those teams who now are going to have to speed up a little bit. City Kamiti being one of them.
Yeah, and as you can see, right, you know, there are some teams here on this page who, you know, you would expect maybe to be a bit higher. I think when you look at last game in particular, you know, Benji, Shadow, Joe, those guys, there was a stage where they took height. It seems like they're falling victim, right, of, you know, one of the many teams who looks to try and take height, but just isn't able to hold it well enough when it counts. And so they're struggling there. Queasy, Trudix, and Jurikyu probably feel the same, right? They've had their stretches in that period, but generally, things are starting to shape up how maybe you would have expected, right? A lot of the top dogs really getting involved, and it's making this finish a lot more interesting.
There's all these trios, man. I'm telling you, everyone has their eyes set on first place, and I like to see that. Now, remember, we have another 5 games to play. So a lot of these teams, as now they're warm, we're going to see some very big changes happen in these next several games. But there it is. You heard the battle bus, which means we got to jump back into game. Shy Wager, Sancho West. Let's do this one more time.
Thank you so much, Zeke. It is game 8, and we're getting the battle bus ready. And wow, Hottie, Elocras, and Tripper, they're talking about a new name on the scene that's been developing. This is not a surprise to me. Is it a surprise to you, Shio, that they were able to rack up a victory royale here in this final stage?
I think it was inevitable. I didn't expect it this kind of early. I thought it'd be kind of later, but they've been trying for it, you know, every single day, from walls to, you know, this point now, getting that win, upsetting height. It finally happened, and it might again.
Yeah, and this is what we was talking about. Tayson was going toe-to-toe against Elocras during the last season. We're just seeing what kind of moxie that trio has in Tripper there. And they've been doing really well third party into Steamy Stacks. But here we go. This is basically as if we're getting into, we still have so many games left to go. So nothing is guaranteed. Do not write this game off. There's no champion yet that is going to be in the running. I mean, this is what's so exciting, that so many people are close. And hey, we already seen a big 50 bomb throw down by Aqua's trio. So all it takes is a huge pop-off game, double digits, and the victory round. And we're just seeing right here, it is possible, as Buzz, who did make it to in-game, now goes down to Psy, which it looks like to me, it looks like Psy's trio has moved somewhere else.
Looks like Trippin and Elocras might be forced to move into not the land of the living in a second. Barely even landed yet. Beam down to 99 and 50 HP respectively. They're gonna have a rude awakening to the start of this game. Meanwhile, Stompy, Nebs, they're gonna be rolling. Falcon Lee, ZQ here too. Kazakh still alive. Not sure if these trios will collide. If they do, Falcon Lee Nebs is gonna be the first points of engagement. All 3 players from both sides ready to fight for the 8th time in the finals.
You just got to hold your breath every time. And what's been happening, though, when Falcon Lee wins this engagement, Shio, is that they get pushed out into the open. But like you mentioned, if Nebs, Pink, and Stompy could hunker down, go into these basements, make it where it's not worth fighting, then they can survive. But just look at this. This is the pressure that they're feeling right now. They're electing to go ahead and disengage because they know what's at stake, because they're sitting in first place by only 5 points, because Hottie, Elocras, and Tripper right there they're going to be able to stay on their feet. We've been seeing them get to in-game. What was that stat? They were there in the top 10 multiple times already here in the finals.
Yeah, and when it comes to Stompy, he's just used to winning games entirely. When it comes to the entire trio on both sides, you know, they're both looking to survive towards the end. Even here, it's kind of the same scenario of contestation over 8 games, but the difference is I don't think anyone here, all 6 players out of all of them, want to disengage.
It feels like it's cooled down a bit. It's cooled down a bit. They're being measured here. That's what you're seeing here. The intensity is getting up here. Again, would be technically the second game here of day 2, but we've been going at it for a while here. And and Shredder gets greeted with a parting gift right there, and that's gonna give the Malibu Cuz trio happy right now because we just got a huge Storm Surge tag. We're just gonna keep rolling out.
Yeah, they want to be careful because I think this is where Hottie and his entire trio that won the last game, like the third party as well, when they hear that fight happening, especially when zone is kind of further away. So a good identification there for Malibuca to be able to just break away, go all the way towards the zone. I see that green arrow on the beach on the bottom right of your screen, very close. They look forward, see no shots really firing. I don't think Hottie will come through towards Steamy this time. That being said, Savage gets to play, and on the other side, the Loot Boys don't. Zestin taking out Exterios is looking for the next shot too. Hydro might be in a little bit of trouble.
I gotta wonder here. Looks like this kind of corny complex has pushed Red Rush outside to mid-map, and that's into the chaotic arms of Hydros and the Loot Boy Co trio. Now Hydro and Backby have to operate as a duo here. They're getting beams here from the people up there on that Defiant dish here, but Hydro, Backby, and Zestin, they're getting to mid-game here. They're doing really well, but it is these risky engagement that they're taking that, as you mentioned here, instigating, causing chaos against people who just want to rotate. They just want to get tagged, they want to rotate, but the Loot Boys are here to fight.
They want to get that surge done. Might come at a cost of a teammate, but they do have Zestin's card right now, so they can't go overboard with an Exterios. Hydro must have forgotten about the box fight he was doing right below his current lair. He gets a big tag, tries to get the whole way away, but Hydro drops down the last one in his trio. He gets deleted.
And so much pressure coming from those mountain ranges. He went down for the high flying maneuver, was hoping to get that hit with the pump as Mappy is going to roll out here. But you're seeing a little bit more of adjustments are happening. Mappy, Asterios, and Red Rush, I don't know. I got to take a look here. Is Benji still up on his feet? It looks like so far, yes. They've been pushed out. Yes, he does get a knock against Sean. So Benji has been doing really well. And Z, Andy, and Chassis here, they're here to fight against Benji. But Benji's been having Corny Complex locked down in the entire finals.
Really have. Sean VP though, I mean, they've kind of been making endgame out of this POI, outside of it a little bit as well. We'll be stealing a little bit of that power away from Benji for now. Looking at the state of the whole game to this zone, Central again, anything could really happen when it comes to center type zones that have Pleasant, Corny, Weeping, Boney in them. It's just kind of a game of control, and a lot of people get to play at the same time. Height switches hands like we just saw at Weeping. You see a lot of people mid-game get into trouble in a lot of fights because they're battling for mountains, battling for position.
And this is zone 1. It is center here. So if you're Hen, Genesis, and Chapix fans, they're up here. They've been making these rotations that goes all the way towards the dirty dock side, and they kind of hook into. But every time they do that, at the beginning, a lot of eliminations, and that's why they were averaging the most after day 1. But it really cost them their placement that they're known for. And that is a trio that's just slowly there. They're looming. They're in the shadows. They're in 6th place coming into game 8. And you're just waiting for it because, again, one pop-off game and you're there. There's the people at the top of the board. They're being contested. Who knows? Hottie, Elocrash, and Tripper could get dunked on at Dinky Dish, or maybe they go for a third party. Revscar being contested at their Steamy Stacks. Kirachi may be contested with 7. So the opportunity is there for Hen, Genesis, and Chapix to win another FNCS championship.
Definitely is, but they have to put in the work to get all the way back towards that top side. 6th place currently right now. They have a lot to do in terms of jumping into first. They have to be even more consistent than they are right now. For Pink to hold on to 186 points, that 10-15 point lead reduced to now just 5 ahead of Hottie, Elocrash, and Trippern. They're going to be going right past Rito Roll a little bit, attracting the attention of Miknup, who must have won, and the entire trio eats another sniper rifle shot. Before it was Stompy, this time it's Pink. They don't have that many chests to work off of because remember, they disengaged, never even won the entire fight. So all the damage they take, it'll actually hurt a lot more comparatively to other trios.
And Sai's trio has decided to go from Retail Row over to that Defiant Dish where Ingram is. Ingram has not been doing well when he's contested. We've seen this time and time and again, even in the qualifiers and semifinals. So they're going to have a little bit more power against Stompies, as you mentioned, because they kind of retreated. They disengaged here. So this is a crucial juncture for this trio here if they want to hold on to that #1 spot.
There's still 4 games to go after this. They'll have to hold on for a long time.
Just hold on. They would just want to go home. You know what I mean? Just hold on. They want to go home. That's what they want.
Reason, Taste, and Vino, I feel like this is the biggest surprise of the day overall. We were expecting a lot more domination, a lot more, I don't know, loudness in the conversation when it comes to playing for height, when it comes to being active at endgame, but it seems like they're just looking for clutch situations, looking to fly by. And right now I'm looking at Nebs, and I'm kind of worried because there's 3 teams around him, and he's got no shield.
No shield. And this is it here. Stomping Nebs in pink. We were talking about them earlier. Now they have to survive this juncture right now. And Red Rush mapping his serials. They're here to put a little bit more pressure into this fight. A little bit more messy here. And you don't want to fight around that upgrade station because sometimes you can't build to it. It gets a little bit weird. Nebs, Stompy, and Pink are going to retreat back into metal builds here as the Stereos, Red Rush, and Mappy here are going to go ahead and pick up Micken up here. And Sai is just has to totally disengage and get out of here. Now, quickly before, you mentioned Vino, Tayson, and Reason, right? They are at least, they're turning it around. Past 2 games, 6th place and 3rd place. So, hey, they're putting it together. They got about 94 points. They're doing a lot better than day 1.
Usually ramping up for something good. The only issue I have with that team right now is they don't have, like, you know, that big power game coming in. They've kind of been just in the shadows. They're picking up a lot of the scraps overall, but to winning you feels like you might have to have, you know, that one victory royale that really puts you all the way up in the lead. Sai getting taken out. I don't think by Stompy entirely. We'll see with the Stomp right here because I didn't see the knock. They'll shake down to have a little bit of an idea to see where people are. It was Pink. Now Micken up might be hunted down in these builds.
What a great response, though. They were in a tough spot. They were hunkered down in their builds and metal, retreating, but with the power, I believe they have that chug cam. They were able to respond, get back into fighting health here. So gonna go for the edit through, trying to push through, and yes, pushes him right into his teammate's hands there. And Pink cleans up that engagement as well. It was so funny, you know, again, I was going to social media to see what Stompy was saying, and Pink responds, I helped carry him there. So that's what you love to see, teammates going back and forth and having fun with it all. But right now, we talked about it, that ultimate third party, now it's kind of bled through these rotations right now, and Savage and Greatest are flashing with top 2.
Yeah, they are, and Hen's also inside the conversation. I don't think Savage knows there's a trio right behind him. The beam will come through as he tries to farm up a little bit of metal for that end game, and now Savage and Jura Ruscard, they understand what's really at stake around them. They're pinched between 2 teams that really like to get all the way towards the end when they play for Search.
The gravity of the situation is getting thicker. The air is getting denser. And speaking of the air up there, it is Aqua. And now David going up against the top of the board again. Last time it was Kirachi at 4th place, taking him down. Now he has to deal with Vidil, who is currently sitting in, who slipped out of the top 3, now in 8th place. And luckily the Parasite there takes a brunt of that damage. It's like a helmet almost there. That's just a great way. I really believe as well, speaking of the Parasite, is you know, Benji's great run in that opening qualifier had a lot to do with the Parasites. Remember, they were a lot stronger. Now they're balanced, and a lot of their movement and a lot of their plays that they made in those box fights were because of the Parasite's strength. So it'll be interesting to see if Benji could kind of get back into form without that advantage.
It'll be interesting to see if this is also going to be a swing game for Vidil, O'Reilly, Aqua. Although they've been, you know, somewhat consistent the entire day when it comes to getting towards the top. Even yesterday, playing very good games, having wins. Thing is, sometimes if they're not going for those wins, they barely even get points in the games they missed out, right? In the games they don't have power. Yes. So this next swing game that comes in, they're gonna have to have control of high ground entirely, not be lost to the zone. Everyone has to make it in, plus Surge. It will be difficult. When it comes to Savage, though, first EU team with a victory royale after rebooting a player. So a lot of the times when, you know, one person goes down, sometimes 2 people clutch it out. Never really get a teammate back and then winning a game entirely. Savage has done it, new form, and it's looking good.
Tayson's picked up a trio wipe in the feed right now, but now we're going to go back into Noah Riley, Vidil, and Aqua, as you were mentioning here, and they might be swinging in a direction that they don't want to, considering in the previous 3 games, 24th, 11th place, and 20th place, and not a lot of points. And Vidil is knocked right there, and he gets picked back up with very few HP in his bank right now. Oh no, oh no, where did that? I think that was glide. Was that a glide through? I heard a glider for a brief second, and the hole was open, and they went down the chimney. And it's not Santa Claus giving out gifts, it's pain that's being dished out.
I don't think Aqua even planned for that. I just wanted to retake. Absolutely perfect timing. Really unfortunate for Toasty, who kind of falls to those builds. And now Elder, Rotary, they're going to be looking for something to do to kind of get right back into the game. Only 2 players. The reboot won't be anywhere close by either. I mean, free for Aqua though. I was about to say, with Vidil knocked, right? That is an issue. They like to go past this mid game unscathed, and they usually don't gain anything either. They're pretty passive until the very end. They got affected. I was about to say that's bad, but then a free Elam falls with that chimney. Christmas time.
Yeah. Absolutely, it could be that refresh that you need there. And I saw this last season with Vidil and Noah Riley. The reason was it's these rotations that they kind of fell down to early on, and this is it. If they could survive this engagement with Aqua here, that's going to be huge. And no matter what, you know, I'd rather survive that right there and get those placement points. But I'm just surprised that this engagement has been going on for so long. Talk about a battle. Savage got elimination, and Hinjas and Chapix are inching closer and closer into this conversation. They are eavesdropping into this Hottie, Tripper, and Eaglecraft battle.
It might be time to hang up the phone. We got to move, Sancho. 40 seconds. The zone's about to come in. Not even on the screen for Refs Guard, Savage, and Andretta just yet. And Genis Chapix are waiting to see exactly what the move will be here. I tag up this trio as they go across and try to get towards a certain point. We'll have to go right by a river. Bridge where a trio's probably held up, farming a lot of metal. We see one over there, but not sure exactly who it is. Surge won't be that big of a problem either with 71 players here. So everyone gets to play their zone. Wings and full net right below them. Elder, Vidil, this fight's actually going straight towards the very end now. Lots of shield loss on Noah Riley and Aqua's side. It's a 2v3, and they're still having trouble just confirming this fight.
Haymakers are just going back and forth on all sides of the map right here. This is kind of the same situation that we were on board with Revsguard here. Always on height, has the man advantage against Rotary, and Elder now is on the back foot. Elder goes down. Rotary now is just being barreled, stuffed, and out. It was really solid work there. Oh, there it is. Elder says poof pow, surprise, but Vidil, no scare tactics here. This man does not get afraid in the scary movie.
That's the first signs of life from this trio when it comes to mid game. Past that, for everyone else, they're finally getting active, getting moving. All the way, a second zone starts to close. Is that another player right above Savage on the backside of Solo, just waiting for him to move? There's no way these guys have to go through every single trap in the game to just make it past, you know, that mid game portion. Revsguard too, he doesn't have these inflatables to really move around. He's gonna be kind of in trouble, worried. Guys, please don't leave me behind. Wings and full net, they're trying to take me. It's all good though. They make it to a house, they get to refresh a little bit and then move on.
I'm getting deja vu, man. Last season, this is where Savage and Revsguard and Dretta, they had that day 2 thing where the rotations just got a lot stickier as it was getting closer and closer to the final frame of game 12. Right now, they're still navigating, still some very close moments for Savage, Revsguard, and Dretta. I think they saw at least 4 or 5 trios sitting up there in that battle. So, hey, that's what's going to have to take there. You're going to have to move on through. They're currently sitting on top 3, and now we're on board with number 8 here, going to glide through, and they're going to go right past the neighborhood of the Kiriachi, who's now slid down to 4th place, who's been in first for a long time in this set of games.
I'm wondering, how did Aqua, how did Savage, when the zone was all the way and weeping, get such a, you know, good priority? And then once it's center, once it's closer to their POI, almost near Steamy, they're having trouble rotating in.
It's true. I mean, the disengage is happening. The third parties, you know, we talked about it, those home zones, that gives open, like the secondary zones end up getting taken out by other trios.
Absolutely. And these kind of relationships between trios are also forming. You just saw it on screen right there. Aqua versus Toos. These guys have been side by side the entire day. We talked about it a little bit on top of show, but somehow landing on opposite sides kind of each other. They still find a way to meet up, battle for the same positions, go for height overall. Both have had experience being almost in first place when it comes to Aqua's standard, and Kiriachi before was in first. Now they're kind of closer to each other. Kiriachi 4th place overall, Aqua 8th. The same bases side by side. Safik though just got picked up. Service catching up. Look at the HP soon. There it is. And the med kit popped off. Default's gonna be affected. Their fighter is down for now, but this duo can still clutch it up.
You talked about people being close to each other, and then Safik and definitely Malibuka are going to get a lot closer, because I think Malibuka is making adjustments and pushing towards that Dirty Dogs area, considering that he is being pushed out as Steamy Stacks there. There goes the launch pad. They're going to glide on through. Hopefully no eyes are looking their way. Now you talked about the fighter default out, so it's up to Safik and Putrick to get closer into the zone. What a great glide. No tags their way, and they're going to have the ability to walk on through. There is a little bit of pressure there, but here it is. All eyes are right now on Hottie, Tripper, and Eelocrats, the ultimate third party, the instigators here, feeling the pressure and feeling the burn now. And this is what happens when you're sitting on top of the board of the FNCS. It gets a little hot.
They're right now in maximum overdrive, top 10 in the last 6
like
games.
that.
And at the same time, the biggest thing is they're taking out all these kind of, it seems like newbie third parties coming in. They're kind of sure if they want to maybe affect other trios. They want to take a few shots. Indecisive. Hottie, Tripper, Nero Clash, they come in. They know how to third party. They take them out, take their position. Now they're the ones bullying Mr. Savage.
I always love metaphors in motion, and the fire was at their feet and they doused it out with a chug cannon, but they have to deal with Storm Surge considering that they're below it. Now we're on board here with Safik here, who's been in the scrum here. No, Storm Surge not acting at the front door, but they could be easily be eliminated as a knock from Noah Riley comes to V7 Tor and gets a full trio wipe against Malibuka. There, Safik has been eliminated. That is your 9th place team going to this fight. It looks like Savage gets knocked by Hottie. It's been a long time coming, but now Hottie gets traded out.
Yeah, it's going to be Vino, Tayson on the backside. They're paying attention to every third party now, trying to get their foot inside this entire 12-game series. And Refsguard's taken out too. So I was calling it. Eelocrats, they like to push the pressure. They want to get serious with the third party. They started the fight though, and it's Tayson actually that has the advantage and cleans everything up.
That's 2 and 3 ousted right then and there, and Tayson is going to have the spoils of all the loot, gets rewarded a chug cannon. And hey, one of the famous sound bites in video game history, they're heating up at the right time.
Now we'll see Vino, Tayson, Reason now overtaking and possibly right close to Kiriachi in 4th place. Pink Neb Stompy all the way up in 1st. Also looking, this is going to be the perfect game for them to further their lead. Have to deal with Aqua, that was on a very good side of the zone right now. Trixie, this is not going to be early game. You can't just roll up with a pad on trios, get some free points. As a solo, it's tough. Hengen is Chapix though. They've been looking really, really good this game. Slightly deceitful too.
The
right
crossfire.
now, though, they have to try to stay invisible as Hen goes back and forth, gliding by. Low cost to actually live though. A lot of the times people get knocked and then revived. He looks to just get in with 56 HP. Janice and Chapix should help him out with his pressure. Found. I think he kind of took the wrong plane to get here, Sancho. He's by himself.
Hen's been in this lane before. We've seen Hen who gets lost and gets separated from his teammates. Now they kind of get all back together, and this is what we're talking about. They operate really strong as a trio, but even if they lose a duo, they go down to the solo, they do very well here, and they have the ability to get those impact placement points here. But we're getting into the end game, and the big names are making an appearance here. Tayson, Vino, and Reason have 5 eliminations walking into, and they have about a mid pool that they go to get the front side of the first moving in zone 6.
They're also 2 of the most active trios on the map that have had a lot of information and a lot to say in third parties. Yeah, Tayson, Vino, Reason, that's one. The second, I feel like it's gonna be Hen, Janice, Chapix, who's just been looking for any type of play to make the entire time. The other side of the coin, though, the passive ones who've just kind of been waiting on height. They're not roaming around or low ground looking for third parties. It's Kiriachi, it's Aqua. They're just waiting to see exactly what they can do. Stompy is also in the fold somewhere. Tayson, Vino, Reason, though, they gotta fly. Information aside, it's time to play the game.
All right, there's the Storm Surge, and there it is. Everyone's flying over, trying to get to the front side. Janice is there on the front side. Diablo is up there, but hey, Queasy Jerky are still up on their feet, and Vidil gets eliminated by Karma. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to see if that is gonna be a full wipe from them. Now Noah Riley goes down. Stompy gets knocked. That's not going to be good news for them. That's going to be a good opportunity for Tayson, Vino, and Reason to move up the board quickly.
Beef in the Storm looks like they were not able to catch the pad for this rotation, so first place is down. Now Kiriachi, Tayson, Vino, Chapix, Hen, everyone that was waiting in the fold is looking to have a seat at that top 3 table.
This is it. It's time to eat. The dinner bell has been rung. This is your time to get fed and get your stomach full of taste and vino reason. We've been waiting this entire day, this entire weekend for you to show up. And right now, you are showing up at the right time. But Cammy City Teak, who have been all around in the business, are now in the front side going on to the dead side rotation. But Nebs, Stompy, and Pink, now Nebs and Pink are working as a duo. And this is it, Pink. You're gonna carry this to it. You can do it right here. And this will be the first match to get some great eliminations.
I thought that Nevs and Pink might have been out for the count, but they're actually still alive. So first place is still working on big defense. Everyone else has to hold on for the moment. Nevs now with 2 elims. Stompy clutched out 1 game for the whole team. Pink had a very good supporting play, and Nevs did the revive, but now it's up to the duo that didn't get any of those elims all the way back 2 games ago. Can they clutch it out and keep that lead at a very big distance?
Teak and Chapix clash on the low ground right there. They're both on opposite sides of the low ground. Again, Jerky, Trulix, and Queasy sitting up the high ground, but we have all our eyes on Tayson and Pink's trios.
Oh
both of them are doing oh well. Oh my goodness, Tayson, you almost put that man in a highlight. Matzo just avoids being clipped, and now Tayson has a taste, and he's gonna go down and keep pushing towards the low ground. I like it. He's cutting off a lot of people, but he may have taken a big bite right there and gets clapped out of the lobby, down and out.
Finally, though, Reason actually finishes the work that Tayson started. Picks up Matzo all the way in the back, who was running away right before. They're going to be operating this duo as well. Lots of trios losing their leaders, the clutchers of the trio, and have to operate just as 2 members looking to build that chemistry and try to just stay in the lead. Chulek, Squeezy, and Jerky, though, they're alive sky high, waiting to see who is going to be the first one to rise to challenge them. Big shots over by Reason. He takes out Janice and another 2. Still moving forward. Vino is alive at the same time. 4ZR is taken down in the feed. They're going lower, lower, and lower, cutting off a majority of players. But once again, just like Tayson, Reason bites off a little more than he can chew in the face of 2 players. He gets knocked out.
There's only one strong trio in this lobby, and that is Queasy Trio, the defending FNCS champion, who already let one slip away. But Andelix here is deep into the storm. Talk about some heals popping off right here. He may be able to sneak up to height, and if this happens again to Trulix, runs out of time. It's been clocked. Chassis, Andy, Sean VP. We've seen Andy put on the highlight. We've seen Queasy on trio be on the wrong side of the highlight. And this cannot happen again. It's a 3v3, high versus low.
We'll see if the Reboot Warriors can win another game. Can Trulex, Jerky, and Queasy hold on and actually secure something when they have a lead? Kind of running out of mats. They have some control. It's just beams from both sides. Everyone's abiding their time. 26 seconds left on the zone 2, so the worst thing possible is what's happening right now. Jerky taking 3 storm damage, down to 11 HP, can only really survive 2 more seconds in the storm. Look at the health of this team down below. They can actually just stall this all out. Every mistake Jerky makes, all these builds in front of him, they can actually prove to be disastrous. They have to really farm out now. They have to get ahead of the zone. 6 seconds still left.
No,
Jerky, he takes another take. He's down. 2v3 now. Height at a slight disadvantage. Chashi, though, he goes down in the feed. Andy, he's gonna go all the way back. Looks like he has a little bit of heals to work with in this game. Another member down. Andy, last alive. Nice. The siphon on a Chulex. That might be enough. The Reboot boys, have they done it again? Queasy's healing. Andy finds him. 1 pump in a dream, but it's not there. Snap back to reality. It's Queasy, Chulex, and Jerky for the win.
Oops, there goes the gravity out the door. Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky just survived that one. It was almost close to being on the wrong side of another clip. The reboot round, it just shows you how vast, how deep the EU region. You could come from the reboot rounds and go toe-to-toe against the defending FNCS champion.
Yeah, and those defending FNCS champions, tricky game. Usually we watch these guys drop it down, really go all throughout. But when the zone bounces back like that, it's difficult.
I was sweating bullets, man. I was just like, oh, not again, not again. But yo, Zeke, Reese, and 11 will have more for us to break down and show us what's on the leaderboard.
Thank you guys so much. My goodness, Queasy, Trulex, Jerky, your defending champions, find themselves a victory royale. 11. It's only with 5 eliminations, though. We watched in that game, Andalex, 4ZR, Squeeze. They were eliminated there with 12 eliminations. Tayson, Vino, Reason by himself had like 7, bro. Now, this is still a big win for Trulex's trio, but is it enough?
I just want to say finally. Like, finally they get the win, right? Like, I kid you not, I was so like certain in my heart that they were going to choke it again. I thought, yeah, Andy's going to hit the shot, it's over, it's going to be 2 chokes, but they were able to win it, and good. That's going to be a big morale booster, because as much as they had that shocking game, they have fought back and they have been still deep into these games and making plays for height. It hasn't seemed to have affected them negatively, and now getting this Vic Roy is going to be really good moving forward. But in terms of, you know, not having enough eliminations, it is one of those things, right? You just have to take the win at the end of the day, and I'm sure they'll be going into the next game trying to figure out ways where they can be a bit more aggressive on height so that they can get the limbs they need.
Well, their playstyle is to get those wins as well. Last season, when they took height, they had an 80% chance at winning. So that's incredible, right? Out of those games to take 80% chance. This season so far, that game-winning play there in particular was actually Juriki. You know, we saw him super low. We were watching like, where's he going to go? And the fact that he intentionally knocked himself to Storm and didn't give that siphon was the play that made them win. Because if you notice, Ziandi ended up picking up the finish onto Trulex, which gave him that 50 more HP, and then allowed them to out-heal, because obviously Queasy had, I'm doing it sounds like Rain Man mental arithmetic at this point, but Queasy had 23 HP, so you could take 3 more ticks to the Storm. So you'll go all the way back. If Ziandi manages to get the finish on Juriki, which he didn't able to, he'd be able to win the heal off. But he didn't, because Juriki ended up knocking himself to the Storm.
There you go. The Rain Man mathematics, as one would argue, Reese just said. Guys, let's keep this conversation going about Tayson, Reason, and Vino. They are absolutely slaying out here. And again, they may not be getting victory royales, but they are dealing damage to the leaderboard.
Yeah, well, coming into this game, they were sort of the #1 team on the day thus far, right? In terms of how many points acquired, and they probably still are after that game, right? You talked about how crazy the amount of eliminations they had are. And look, they came into this as a favorite. Sancho even picked them, right, to win the whole competition. And they definitely have shown over the course of the season that they are one of the best teams, but it just wasn't materializing, right, Reese? But finally, finding a bit of form.
I can confirm they are still first on the day by 20 points. Obviously, this is a cumulative leaderboard, however, but there are some stats that we want to look at, that we want to highlight from this team so far, right? Want to look at their eliminations, their placement, their solo impact, right? This is all kind of split across each individual player and how it works out. For Tayson in particular, right? He has 17, well, he had before this. He's now got 21 eliminations. So he's the guy in the trio who's got the most elims. He's the one who's fragging out the most. Each of them has their own roles. Reason has the most placement points as well in terms of 11. And then Vino has the highest solo impact, meaning 33 points. So all of them are playing in their own little world, it would seem right now, right? They all have their role. They're all playing this absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to individual ability, you know, this is a trio that is almost unfairly stacked, right? When you look at how good each of them are as individuals, and it's coming to fruition now. You can see their performances so far today has pushed them into second place. And guys, you know, ladies and gentlemen, please, you know, we got to get ourselves ready, right? Because if this is going to keep on playing out like this, Tayson might be on the verge of picking up a 4th FNC. So I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. Ignore I said that. But if they continue like this, #4 might be coming.
The 4th time
might be coming.
It could be indeed. And on EU, like, that is outstanding.
Goodness.
If he does that, go to 100%. I mean, most people say anyway, but 100% confirmed.
Dude, I don't know. Stompy's still holding down first. We'll have to see, though. We have a handful of games left, exactly 4, and we will know who our trios champion is. But you've heard the battle bus beep beep. We're going to jump back into all the action. So Sancho West, Shy Wager, take it away.
Oh boy, we are definitely going to do our best to take it away. Shy and I were talking during the break. It's a marathon, y'all. We're still in it. We're still in this one. We still have like at least 3 more games. We're going into game 9 here. And hey, if we are feeling it, no doubt the players are feeling it too, Shayo.
Yeah, I was about to say this game should be the test for a majority of players right now when it comes to the way this entire, you know, competition is structured out. 8 games on the day. This might be the one where people start to make a few mistakes, and then that lower portion of the board tries to come up for the lead.
And when you're tired, you know, and you haven't had your full energy, you just get a little bit wild with it. You make some desperate plays, and right now, Tayson, Reason, and Vino, they've already showed it. They already showed it to y'all. But if y'all need to understand, we're gonna highlight it, bold, underline it, italic, whatever you want to do. They're on one. They're here. They're moving up the board. They're the leaders in day 2. And if they just keep up the pace, I think this could be an opportunity to definitely get that. I'm not jinxing anything. I'm not saying anything, but this is it. It's on the line here. 3 more games to go.
Yeah, 3 more games, and patterns are the same all across the map. Egram still fighting with Zebra. It's looking to be a little bit in retail row, so not sure exactly what Egram's doing all the way over there. If it's a different fight, people are switching up spots now for the final 3 games. Taysom, look at that. They jump in, loot, and get out. Record time. The game just started, and they're looking for rotations.
It's just showing you how much the Storm Surge plans has been affected by everyone rotating out a lot earlier. These cars and vehicles now had to be in with the chunker tires. You can move a lot faster. And now Malibuka is going to put a pause in Dreda, and Dreda gets eliminated here. But we have so many times watching this Lazy Lake engagement, but it looks like it's just been like a standstill so far. A lot of disengaging, landing on the north side, being able just to loot a couple buildings, and they're out.
I think both teams understand now, if they disengage, look for a few tags, and then move out. If there's something big that happens, they can go for the Elam, that's good. But staying here the entire time trying to fight, it's worse for both of them. So they might have more, or I guess less loot entirely. They will still get the damage. I mean, Nebs is working great when they rotate. When it goes to ZQ, they're actually making end games now. So it's nice both ways.
It's just the whole entire time in the last game, it felt like all the third-party people get taken out, but Refsguard with the flank using the steamy stack says, surprise, Malibuka, I got backup for you, Savage there. And that is what I love about steamy stacks, is just a variety of different flanks here. Malibuka still gliding here, trying to find the ground, just some images here, just avoid the beams from Savage, but nice work there from Refsguard and Savage working together.
It feels like I'm watching a cinematic campaign or like a spy movie, and Refsguard, you know, Savage trying to buy the time. They're on the comms, the earpieces, and they're all diving in. Now they actually have to get a little bit more bureaucratic. It's time for, you know, a lot of that covertness to go out. They might have to structure for this boss fight, but Savage has nothing in terms of builds. Has to go right back up into the sky on the backside. Refsguard is going to try to support him, but where's Andretta? He got knocked while this was all going down. It's just Savage and Refsguard.
It reminds me, you know, those video game moments. Yeah, you got that guy stealth mission. You're like, okay, you try it. You try to be stealthy, and all of a sudden, just chaos breaks out and bullets go everywhere. You just like, whatever. I'm gonna go full send into this mission, and it ends up being failed. But now it's gonna be a moment here for Savage and Refsguard to try to salvage that engagement here. And we're taking a look at other people on the board here who may not be in the running for the top, but this is more about Void, Festroki, and Karma. Their day 2 woes is now being at an all-time high with a capital F for feels bad, man.
Now Aryan 2 inside the box gets, you know, pyramided up and then taken out. Void.
Pause the music.
From the bad time or the bad side the entire time. Basically for Aryan there is, you know, mission fill. We'll get him next time. So close to really dealing down the damage. Haijo also affected. Aqua, he's done with the funny business. He wants to get into the money business, looking for a lot of these tags himself, looking to invest inside the damage. They're gonna take these mid-game roamers to the works, basically. You really want a mid-game fight, you want to get involved, have Noah Riley in your box. Let's see how long you last.
I like this. This brings a smile to my face. Understanding that Vidil, Aqua, and Noah Riley found a piece of their missing puzzle. And okay, the fight gets extended out to the outskirts of Lazy Lake here. And now Stompy, I don't know if you have another clutch in that backpack. You're gonna have to pull one out here with the great tack here. ZQ Falconry put the chase down, and now may have an opportunity to send out our #1 early into out of game 9.
Yeah, in Lazy Lake, it's more of an actual boxing ring right now, a backyard brawl. Stompy looking for a sucker punch, but these builds are way too strong. Regulation wins at the end of the day. ZQ and Kezix, they survive. First place paused again?
Yeah. Paused again, but who is now on full play to their old hits. It is Janice Chapix in hand, making that rotation finally into the formerly known as Stealthy Stronghold. This is what I've been waiting for this entire time. I've been waiting, calling it out day 1. When are they going to execute this strategy? And I'm thinking it's because that Wings trio is no longer going here. Is Doko coming from Coral Castle is rotating through. I do think maybe Wings is those pink arrows there, but I like what I've seen. If they could get this done, that could be that Storm Surge enough for them to give them that mobility and freedom that they enjoy when it comes to those mid to in-game rotations.
That's been tough for this trio the entire day. We'll be actually battling Henjanis Chapix in this one too. Kind of overall 24th place. Looking at the game so far, you know, there's been one. The second game they played on the first day where they actually really made it out of the early game, and Dako had a lot to say in the end game. They keep getting held back. Artskill is here too. He's gonna be stopped. So many different teams. This is just chaos at the start of the game.
It's very chaotic because Artskill, you were landing all the way south, and now you're here back north. You might have migrated too early. It's not your time.
I'm telling you, right? This is the difference. When the last 3 games, people start to do different things. They start to get maybe a little bit exhausted. They go for plan Bs and Cs if As aren't working out. And sometimes that plan B goes straight over the Janice Chapix in hand. That is not what, you know, the strategy usually is for a lot of teams. They don't end up winning out in that angle. Even there, Flecken with a beautiful flank shot, only really lands one AR tag. Janus responds with equivalent damage. Now the pressure comes in, so a beautiful drop down there, back with the same team and all his teammates. Pressure still coming in. They have a lot of mass to be able to survive this. They have the siphons from all sides. But remember, Stealthy Stronghold, that back wall, you can't break it. You can't build through it. Chapix Janus literally stuck between a rock and an impenetrable place.
And don't forget, Doku, who is a great solo impact, is not going to go down easy. This man has about 9 different chances when it comes to lobby. He is the cat of the finals. And now we're looking at Asterios on the top right, making the rotation. This is another zone that we've been seeing throughout the finals here. And that means this is it. This is Tayson's time. We had a lot of home zones in day 1 for the Believer Beach trio, and they did not cash in at all. Reese talked about it in game 1. They went to the south side of Pleasant Park and they got easily eliminated because of Storm Surge, but we've seen them how aggressive they are. I think this is it. This is their time. They can move up and get first place.
They've moved out of home though. They might have the best zone possible for their POI, but they're not even looting it. It looks like they're somewhere all below those orange arrows at Weeping Woods, maybe looking for some engagements. Meanwhile, there's a random orange arrow all the way towards the top near Stealthy Stronghold, wondering what's happening over there. Flecken, Gumu, and Dako, they're expending all their ammunition, trying to get these guys just absolutely fumigated outside of the low ground. I think that was a launchpad attempt or something from the side of the Guild Gamma boys.
Why is it warm in here and cold downstairs? Ow, pig, ow. You wanna play on the Nintendo? I wanted to.